Welcome back to Explore with John McFall. Earlier we looked at Port Noir as a gateway, a single port on Africa's Atlantic coast that connects local economies to the world. But Port Noir is just one of thousands of ports across the globe, and together these ports form the arteries of global trade. It's easy to forget that almost everything we touch in a daily life has passed through a port. The clothes we wear, the fuel in our cars, the food in our supermarkets, even the phones in our hands. 80 to 90% of world trade by volume moves by sea, and every one of those ships has to call it a port. So when we talk about ports, we're not just talking about infrastructure, we're talking about the beating heart of the global supply chains. All right, now let's break down what a port actually is. From the outside, it looks simple. Ships arrive, cranes unload, trucks drive away. But in reality, a port is a living ecosystem made up of heavily specialized organizations. The Port Authority is like the landlord. They manage the infrastructure, the land, the safety rules. The terminal operators, companies like APM Terminals or DP World, actually run the yard, operate the cranes, and manage the berths where the ships dock. The shipping lines, Maersk, MSC, CMA, CGM, they bring the vessels, they coordinate schedules, and handle container flows across the globe. They're coordinating between customers, shipping lines, and port services. Trucking companies and rail operators connect the port inland, moving containers to factories, warehouses, and retailers. And then there are the warehouse operators, logistics service providers, IT and technology companies, all building the systems that track and manage the flow. A port is not one business, it's dozens of businesses, each highly specialized, all interdependent. The strength of the port is only as strong as the weakest of these links. So what sorts of challenges do these organizations face? Congestion is the most visible. Ships queuing off shores, containers stacked high in yards, trucks waiting for hours to enter gates. Customs and clearance delays, often caused by paper-based systems or strict inspection regimes, can bring the flow to a halt. Sometimes it's just an infrastructure limit. Outdated rail lines, congested roads, limited berths. These all prevent ports from scaling as trade volume grows. Labor challenges, from strikes to shortages of skilled crane operators, can shut down terminals. Technology gaps. Many ports still run on legacy siloed systems with poor interoperability. That creates blind spots where no one really knows the status of a shipment. From the outside, a port looks like one operation. In reality, it's thousands of moving parts. And if even one of them slows, the whole system backs up. But ports don't just face day-to-day challenges. They also face long-term strategic risks. Climate change and sea level rises. Ports are, by definition, at sea level. Storm surge, flooding, and erosion are growing risks. Many African ports, including Port Noir, have limited defense against extreme weather. Geopolitics. Ports sit at the front line of trade wars, sanctions, and even piracy. The Gulf of Guinea, just north of here, has had piracy hotspot, and global choke points like Suez Canal or Panama Canal show how one blockage can ripple through world trade. Competition and investment. Ports compete for traffic. The ones that modernize, dredge deeper harbors, invest in automation, buildings, rail connections, attract carriers. The ones that lag behind are being bypassed. Sustainability. Shipping is under significant pressure to decarbonize, and that means ports must provide new fuels, shore power, and greener infrastructure. But these upgrades cost billions, and not every port can afford them. At the center of all ports are people. Ports are 24/7 human operations. Dock workers, crane operators, customs officers, truck drivers, IT specialists. Each container you see has touched the hands and lives of dozens of people, each performing a highly specialized role. And when things go wrong, it's those people who feel the pressure first. Long shifts, rising stress, safety risks. Now here's where it gets personal, because the challenges inside ports don't stay inside the port. They ripple outwards. And supply chain leaders feel them in very real, very painful ways. First, the financial symptoms. Demurrage charges when containers sit too long. Detention charges when containers can't be returned on time. Storage fees when goods have to be warehoused because clearance is delayed. Unexpected surcharges for congestion or disruption. Second, the time and planning symptoms. Missed delivery windows. Leaving factories short of raw materials. Scheduled unreliability with ETAs constantly shifting. and the ripple effects, one late container triggering production stoppages or missed inland connections. Third is the visibility symptoms. Leaders asking daily, where is my stuff? Conflicting data from different systems, a lack of proactive alerts, problems only surface when it's already too late. Fourth, the relationship symptoms, difficult conversations with customers when goods don't arrive, disputes with suppliers and forwarders over who pays extra charges, internal friction inside companies, sales blaming logistics, logistics blaming procurement. The fifth, the strategic symptoms, eroded margins as unplanned costs eat profit, working capital locked up in goods stuck in a port, all of which can lead to a loss of competitiveness to rivals who secure smoother routes, over-dependence on one congested port, creating board-level risk. And finally, the human symptoms, logistics managers firefighting at midnight, decision fatigue from too many micro-decisions with incomplete data, the personal stress of being accountable for disruptions they don't control. These are the symptoms leaders feel. Not abstract concepts, but real financial hits, real delays, real stress. But we've seen these symptoms before. In 2021, the Evergreen blocked the Suez Canal for just 6 days. The result? Billions in delayed cargo, factories running out of parts, ships diverted thousands of miles around Africa. During COVID, the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach had dozens of ships anchored offshore. Retailers couldn't stock shelves, manufacturers couldn't get parts, and consumers saw prices climb. Here in Africa, when Port Noir or Matida slow down, prices in Kinshasa or Bangui rise within days. A regional port becomes a regional bottleneck. These stories show that port disruptions aren't local, they are global. Ports are the beating heart of the global trade. They're not a single business, but an ecosystem of highly specialized organizations. They face daily operational challenges and long-term strategic risks. And when they come under pressure, the symptoms, they spread far and wide. They show up as demurrage invoices, missed production schedules, tense customer calls, and sleepless nights for many a supply chain leader. Ports don't just move goods, they move economies. And the strength of the global supply chain depends on the strength of these gateways.